And today I have a great friend that's on, Dr. Tyler Hamel of Hamel Chiropractic and Wellness right here in my hometown of Kingwood, Texas. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Dr. Hamel, I'm glad to have you on the show. And this doesn't get talked a lot when we're talking about small business. We talk generally about what needs to happen within the business, but we don't talk about us as a person in the business. So this is going to be a great conversation today because your expertise on health. So the first question is, why do you think business owners do not pay attention to their health?
All right, that's a good question. So I think, as a business owner myself, I've been doing it for 23 years, and I just have a front desk person in me. So when you get into the details of the business, for me being a chiropractor, there's much more than just being a chiropractor to running the business. So it's very easy to get caught up, and to say maybe like addicted to some degree in the business, because it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of work. And I think for a lot of small business owners, it's the same. So when you're always putting so much time and effort into the business, then most likely you're going to neglect some of the other things, and it's always a challenge, for when you think of your family and the hobbies and your health, just like any other business. And I heard a long time ago, which is kind of a crazy quote, but somebody was telling me it's great being like owning your own business. You can work whenever you want. You can decide which 18 hours of the day you want to work. Which for some of us, I mean, that can kind of be a reality. So I kind of go back to you hear kind of the health as wealth and that kind of thing too. But if you're neglecting your health, you're not able to to give the energy, say, to your clients, or the service that you would like to give to your clients, because if you don't have the energy, or if you have brain fog all the time or different things like that, it's hard to do. So I'm a little biased because I'm in that field, and I live what I recommend. um and I just know, for me, if I wasn't sleeping well and not eating well and exercising, it'd be hard for me to give the energy to each one of my patients when they come in, right? It'd be almost unfair to them if they come in and I'm tired, and I have nothing to give. I always think of it on that side of it. So it's a priority, but you still have to balance it all out, right? You can't just do everything health and neglect the other aspects of your life. So.
Yeah, I think you hit on a lot of things there, and sometimes I think it is almost like an addiction. Small business owners, we always want to make sure that our clients are taken care of and they get the greatest service. And then we look up, and like you said, 18 hours have passed, or even 14 hours have passed, and you're like, okay, the last thing I want to do now is to take myself to the gym, or go ride my Peloton in the bedroom, or go for a walk. I'm tired, and I'm done. And a lot of that tiredness and being done comes from not being healthy. I've dealt with that over the years. And so what could small business owners do to ensure that it becomes part of the routine or part of their day when it
Yeah.
comes to their health?
So I think just as you would treat your business, if you are meeting with clients or networking, anything like that, you have to schedule that into your day, right? So you hear that a lot. If you don't put it in your schedule, it doesn't get done. So you have to do that with your health, and whether that be taking enough time in the morning to prepare food for breakfast or for lunch, or take enough time at lunchtime or in the morning to do a little exercise routine or go for a run or something like that. um, you have to get it scheduled, and I think a lot of that stuff is just, it's easier to do in the morning because a lot of stuff hasn't happened yet, right? You don't have all the new calls or new things or stuff that comes up. When I get to the office, you never know. I mean, we could just have a couple of patients on the book in the morning, and all of a sudden it's just going crazy. And again, I want to serve as many people as I can, so there might be a tendency to neglect that other stuff. So I would recommend doing it in the morning if you can. Waking up a little bit early, getting the stuff done you need to do, and after you do it for a while, then it becomes a routine and a habit, and it just like anything else, it gets easier and easier, right? So, you focus on, you go to bed at the same time every night, wake up at the same time in the morning, do your routine, and that way you don't have to think too much about it. I think it's easy to overthink, right? I wake up in the morning, well, what am I going to make for breakfast, or what kind of workout am I going to do? Like if you just kind of have it already figured out and you don't have to think about it, you just wake up and you do it, and it becomes easy over time. So that's what I recommend. I know there's people with families and kids. It's not always easy maybe in the morning, but I just know for me, like after the day gets going, lunch is much more difficult. After work is much more difficult because so many things can happen in that span of the day.
Yeah, with a lot of small business owners, I talk about getting stuff done, the most important stuff done in the morning, because the afternoon might be using the fire extinguisher and going putting all the little fires out. And
Exactly.
so let's talk about mindset around that, because it sounds really easy. Okay, I just block some time. I'm going to go work out. I'm going to contribute that time to getting healthier. Yet there might be that mindset, especially if you're getting started. Like Dr. Hamel's going to hurt. I'm tired. I don't want to be sore. Like, how do you push through those type of thoughts?
Yeah, so it's a good point. I mean, I think especially when it comes to anything, but health especially, it's you're going to go through some kind of like peaks and valleys, of course, when you start it. It's if it was super easy, then everybody would be doing it, right? And it'd be that easy. But I'd say, like kind of starting off in that kind of that mindset or that positive mindset in the morning, it really helps. So you can kind of figure out like where you're going to start in the day, right? Like early in the morning, you get up and it's like, well, I'm going to make my coffee. I'm going to read or meditate. I'm going to do my exercises. And I think if from the get go in the morning, if you have that mindset, like let me get aligned with the goals that I'm doing, right? So, all right, I want to be healthy today. So you can see how making breakfast in the morning, exercising, meditating, that kind of stuff, you're kind of staying in alignment with those goals, right? And the biggest factor I think is if you can stay in alignment with those goals for the whole day, that's fantastic. But the amount of distractions that try to come into play are many, right? So it could be stuff at work, it could be like social media for sure, um, playing online, whatever. It's like you have to, as hard as that could be, you have to kind of stay aligned with your goals or your target and just don't get involved in that stuff, right? Like all of us could be way more productive if we didn't say waste time on distractions.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
that's
Yeah. I can't find the time in the day, but I've been on Facebook for 4 hours, right?
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I
Um,
understand it's like it's just so much in our face now with social media and stuff that yeah, the only way to not get distracted is to not go on. Otherwise, you go on, you open up a website browser and go down the rabbit hole.
yeah, they spend 4 hours watching videos on how to get healthy, yet all they could have done, they could have gone out for a walk or something,
Yes,
right?
totally agree. Yeah.
How do you, so that there's that part of mindset where it's like they know it's going to be hard, it's going to be a challenge. I think there's also a mindset issue around, I've got to go in there and do it all. Like, I got to go to the gym and hit it hard today, like back in the day of high school, and
Yep.
you might not be in shape for that. Like, what should somebody do as they're getting back into a routine? Where should they start?
So I would say kind of first and foremost too, I think a lot of people get to the point where they say, wow, like I really need to do something about my health, because I'm feeling this way, or maybe I gained weight, or I have this condition or a diagnosis. So you always want to keep in mind, like, why you're doing it in the first place. If you just say, I want to exercise so I can look better, like, is that enough to keep you going? Or I just want to exercise because my friend's doing it and he looks real, or, stuff like that. It's usually not enough to keep you going. So I think it's always important to remember um, a couple things. So one, again, like, why you're doing it. Like, if I keep doing this, then, um, you know, I'm gonna feel better, feel healthier, and I'll be able to do whatever, go on vacation. I'll be healthy enough to play with my kids, or, kind of larger life stuff that's going on that you can relate to. Second, I think, and probably equally as important, is like we do see a lot of quick fix things today, but probably more so than ever, right? In media, ads. So kind of faith in the process, you kind of hear that. Like you never want to go into something with a quick fix mentality because you'll be disappointed every time. But instead, if you go in and think like, yeah, this is going to be challenging, faith in the process. So let's, you can journal, you can do different things like that. Like, how am I feeling after a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 months, right? That's a good way to plan it out, because if you just keep that in mind, nothing tough comes easy, or like you're changing health habits. It's never easy. And if you're falling for those easy quick fix this and quick fix that, like I always tell patients, like, you fall for one and then you go on to the next one and you fail again and fail again. So yeah, I think from the get-go, just get that quick fix mentality out of your mindset.
So this is all great stuff. I think, and this, is that exercise is just one component. Diet is probably the biggest component. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, and I'd say exactly. And just mention one other quick thing too. Like, probably one of the least considered important things for people is rest and recovery, right? The sleep. And you think business owners, like, we're go 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 go, we're working hard, even if we're exercising, spending time with their family. And it's like, well, yeah, what about the sleep and the recovery, right? If And a lot of people aren't getting enough of that, so they're waking up in the morning, super caffeine, energy drinks, all that kind of stuff. So that's very important too. On the diet side, it's and I think by now, I mean, of course, there's still the quick fix pills and the this and the that, but we all know what's good for us and what isn't good for us. There isn't, like, they're not going to come up with a sugar that we could eat all the time that's all of a sudden like going to be good for us, and not affect our blood sugar. There just isn't that. They might try, but it's never going to happen. So I always tell patients that, when you talk about the food, or you shouldn't even use the word diet, because that can bring about like some emotional, overwhelming things. But if you just stick to the eating real food side of it, I think that's probably the least overwhelming thing, right? Because people know what real food is. You go to the grocery store, you eat meat, chicken, or fish, or vegetables, or fruit, like that's all real. Um, Stuff that's in a bag, a box, or a can, right? It's processed, not so real, right? So I think a lot of stuff would be fixed to some degree just by doing that, right? Like, blood sugar is an issue. A lot of processed foods, things like that we eat, it affects blood sugar. But if you're eating meat and chicken and fish and salads and fruit, like, you're probably going to be pretty good with blood sugar. So I would say with diet, like, just focus on that. If you eat real food, just try to do it for a month and then reevaluate and see how you're feeling. Um, the other side of it is supplements. I take a lot of supplements too, because it's just hard to get everything that you need in the diet. Even if you're eating healthy, even if you're eating organic, it's just hard to get all the nutrients you need. So there's just some basic things that you can take to make sure you're getting enough nutrients for your cardiovascular system, your immune system. Just simple things. You don't have to go overboard. But I think you're eating the right stuff and you're taking the right supplements, you'll see changes for sure. And I think the big thing, energy, and then your brain clarity, right? A lot of people wake up, they're tired as can be, they're doing caffeine, they have brain fog. And that's a tough way to start the day. And if you're a business owner, that's a tough way to try to run a business.
Yeah, absolutely. I think about, I've heard it said that if you're not shopping on the outside of a grocery store, anytime you're going down an aisle, you're going to start moving yourself towards some problems. But to eat that right food, but even some of the right food is so depleted of nutrients because of the processing and the way that it's grown. I've also heard that it is important to make sure you're getting some of those key supplements that do impact a lot of the things that are taking place in your body. Tell me about chiropractic health. So you're in the chiropractic field. What does that do for somebody that's looking to improve health?
Yeah. So chiropractic, basically, you're looking at kind of in a nutshell, think of spine and nervous system, right? Like your spine protects your spinal cord, your nervous system. So when we look at the spine, and a lot of people today work on computers, there's lots of postural stress like that affects the spine, and that affects a bunch of different health issues. So I'd say with chiropractic, what you're trying to do is remove the stress from the spine, and think of it that way, right? Removing stress from the spine, not only can that help in, say, neck pain, back pain, or headaches, but also you think of, it's kind of like a reboot for the nervous system in a way, right? Because you have the spine's protecting all that kind of stuff. And if it's the spines, if it's misaligned, if there's extra pressure in there and putting pressure on nerves, it could realistically, it could affect different things in the body, organs, glands, digestion, different things like that. So, but for chiropractic, most people, like, they come in the first place because of neck and back pain, but they might also have some issues with digestion or sleep or energy. And sometimes adjustments and getting everything realigned can make a difference in that too. I wouldn't say like people aren't lined up coming in here because they have chronic fatigue. There's more to it than that. But just releasing pressure on the nervous system can, in a way, kind of feel like a reboot for like a computer, you know. And a lot of people say that it's like, wow, uh, I didn't realize I was so tight or I had so much pressure. Adjustments for like blood flow, nerve flow. If that doesn't happen properly in the body, then you're going to have a lot of issues as well. So I think it's a good way to look at chiropractic. Um, More and more people, these, like, probably 80% of our people coming in, they're working on a computer almost in no matter what profession they're in. It's like that's such a common thing. And I hear some patients, it's 6 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. And some of these jobs are like really stressful at the same time. So you have, the postural stress that's getting you, but also the emotional stress. And that's a recipe for problems, pressure, spinal, headaches, neck pain, things like that. So I think that's the biggest thing chiropractic can help with, just kind of improving posture and removing stress from the spine. And when you look at all those aches and pains, it can make a pretty big difference in that. And there's no medicine, no surgeries, anything like that. It just naturally kind of like putting your spine or your body back in alignment, and then your body knows what to do after that.
Yeah, and I know personally, I've been in your office for the times when I couldn't hardly even walk. And I've been in for times of maintenance, and the one time I know that I came in there and I couldn't even barely get out of the car. I was able to, after that session, to walk, get in my car, and have no pain. And so, I didn't have to get a surgery. I didn't have to take a drug. I didn't have to do anything other than just get a proper adjustment. And, so I think that for somebody that's looking for that alternative to where they don't have to go do some of those more extreme things, because then you got to think, if it's surgery, then you got rehab, and, are taking pills, what does that do to your body over time?
Yep,
Um,
exactly.
it was a night and day difference just in a matter of a few minutes and a few adjustments. And so I think it's something that, if you're listening to this today and maybe you've thought, I don't know about that chiropractor type stuff. I don't know if I'd do it. I was the same way. My wife goes all the time, and she was like, "You just need to go try it, see what happens." And I was sold. It made a huge difference in my life. And so I want you to tell us a little bit about your business here in Kingwood, Texas. Like, how can people connect with you? What are the different services that you offer there
Yeah.
at Hamel Chiropractic and Wellness?
So let me say, to just on that side of it, like trying chiropractic, like you're right, because, and there's, as a chiropractor doing it for 23 years, there is a time and place for surgery and for medicine, no question. But I think when you look at it, it's never supposed to happen as much as it does now, where you have people taking Advil or ibuprofen for 20 years, right? I think when it came out, like, yeah, take it for 4 to 6 weeks. things get better and you're done. And I think a lot of medicine is like that. It's never meant to be taken more than for a short period of time. Um, they say kind of like how it is like acute care for chronic type of conditions, or like arthritis, all this other kind of stuff. Like we're not meant to take it for that long. So yeah, I think it's a great alternative for that. And maybe if people are out there and they've had aches and pains and they've tried all that other stuff and it hasn't worked, there's no harm in trying chiropractic. It's just, we don't use any medicine or pain shots or anything like that. It's just the body's natural ability to heal itself. So yeah, on that end is I've been a chiropractor for 23 years. My office it's located right across from Kingwood Middle School, which works out good because my stepson goes there, so it's very, very convenient. But our services, so again, for 80% of people coming in, neck and back pain. And then we also see headaches and sciatica, shoulder pain, things like that. Um, so chiropractic services, adjustments, we offer corrective exercises. Like every patient will get a recommended amount of corrective exercises because, and just depends on where you go. But I think adjustments and realignment, it's a key thing. But if you can't help it stay that way or stay stable that way, it doesn't last for very long. So for people who come in who have postural issues and aches and pains, the adjustments help. But if they, practice on a daily basis their corrective exercises, those patients get way better. They come in less frequently, guaranteed. So it's a chiropractic. It's a participation type of treatment for the patient. It's not a come in, get adjustment, and then all right, you're fixed kind of thing. It's more on the medicine side, right? Hey, just take this pill and don't change anything else. Just take the pill. And that doesn't work too well. So yeah, so that's on the chiropractic side. We just started doing about 2 months ago. So it's stem wave therapy, or called shock wave therapy. It's been around for a long time, but they've come out with a device that we can use, especially for really tough cases. And when we look at more on the extremity side, so shoulder, rotator cuff, frozen shoulder, knee pain, Achilles tendonitis, plantar fasciitis. So I've been able to see those type of patients over the years, but some of those patients, it can take forever to try to get results, like literally forever. And you can look at something like frozen shoulder. It doesn't matter who you go. They don't have a good answer for that, whether it's medicine or chiropractic or anything. But the stem wave or shockwave therapy, it helps to relieve inflammation and improve circulation, and kind of like nothing that I could do with my hands compared to this machine. So that's the newest thing. And it's exciting for me. I always think, well, how can we get a patient, better, faster? And this allows us to do that. They still do the corrective exercises and whatnot, but this is kind of a newer, latest technology type of machine that's available, and we're one of the first in the area to have it. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So how do they contact you? We know where you're located. What's the best way to set an appointment?
So there's a couple different ways. Some people still like to use the phone and call. So our office number 281-360-8387. But if you're like a lot of the younger people today, they just want to message and text, and you can live message that same exact number, the 281-360-8387. And everything it's a live message interaction with Melissa, my front desk. So you can do it that way, and you never have to pick up the phone. You can make an appointment. You can send in your insurance card. You can do all that stuff, from home or from work if you just want to, text on your phone. Facebook, we have a Facebook group. We have an Instagram page. But Facebook Messenger for Hamel Chiropractic, you can do the same. You can send a message. It comes in live messages us. So that's probably the easiest way. On our website, we have a form you can fill out. It's another way to do it. And we'll reach out to you. You put in your name and your phone number, and we'll reach out to you and try to help. But those are the main ways. We accept walk-ins at our office too. It doesn't happen that often, But it's available, and just we take a break for lunch. So if you're gonna walk in, you just got to make sure that you don't come during lunchtime. But yeah, those are probably the easiest ways to reach out to us, either phone call or you can send us a message, and we get back to you like live messaging. Obviously, we're doing that real time. So yeah, so that's about it.
That's great. Well, I appreciate you taking the time today, Dr. Hamel, to share, something that's not really talked about amongst business owners. We always want to know how do we build the business. Part of it is we've got to be healthier. And I too believe and advocate health is wealth. And I appreciate you sharing some of that information. I know there's going to be some people on here that listen to this today, and maybe they're having some of those issues, or maybe they're ready to make a change. And I think you will have inspired a few people with what you've shared today. And if you do need chiropractic assistance, I highly recommend Dr. Hamel. I personally use him, and he's done some amazing, miraculous things that I don't understand it all. I just know if I can get back up off the table and walk out and not have any pain, that's pretty amazing.
Fantastic. Thanks. Thanks for the testimonial. I appreciate you coming in and having me on the podcast.
All right. Well, thank you. Until next time, onward and upward.